RGB, red, green and blue, make up the colours of the spectrum that our human eyes can see. This photo has a lot of green and blue, and what you see here is how our camera's AI and its robot eyes interpret colours. Honestly, I had a look at this photo and had to look at the flower and come back and look at the photo again a few times before I came up with this conclusion. The iPhone and the Poco F4 pretty much nail the colours. The Nothing Phone 1 has a slightly over enhanced and cooler colour tone, making the flower a little bit too purple. It still looks pretty awesome, but it's not entirely accurate, but I do like how it's delivering what appears to be a natural bokeh, otherwise known as blurry background. And you can see that same effect on the Poco phone as well, but not the iPhone. And I think the iPhone's AI decided that this is more of a landscape shot and has purposely kept all of the background in focus. So you see, the machines are learning and they are already thinking for themselves. Okay, we looked at the greens and blues. Here's some red. All three look good. Again, the Nothing Phone looks a little cooler in tone than the other two. But what I want to look at here, and I want you guys to focus on most, is the color saturation, because sometimes some phones AI actually oversaturates the colors, and when they do that, the colors start to bleed over the details and you begin to lose those little fine details that you can see with your own eyes. So let's go in for a closer look. So interestingly enough here, the iPhone is the one that's actually oversaturated. It's losing some of the details around here in this photo, and in comparison to the other two, you can really see that. And in fact, when it comes to retaining details in these bright saturated shots, the Nothing Phone 1 seems to take the win. Okay, picture number 3. So here's a shot of the dog, and I couldn't get it to stay still for long enough to take exactly the same picture 3 times. So apologies for that. I did try my best. And I have to say, when it comes to colors, the iPhone seems to take the win here. Again, the Nothing Phone 1's color balance seems slightly off, maybe this time leaning more towards the green tones, but it's actually delivering a really nice lifelike shot in a way, especially when you compare it to the Poco F4 picture, which looks very saturated and a bit too high in contrast, which is actually something that a lot of people actually like. So Poco probably know that, and they were actually going for that style. And I do think the iPhone wins because it kind of strikes that balance between the two. It's got the color accuracy, and it's also got the contrast right, but it is important to remember it's more than double the price of the other two phones. Anyway, let's zoom into the dog's fur and see which phone delivers the best details. Picture 4. Okay, this is the ultra wide, and this has been retuned by Nothing since the launch. I know it got a bit of criticism on launch day, but the color balance seems to carry over almost exactly the same as it did from the previous lens, which is what I think they were trying to do. But again, like I said before, looks a little bit too green to me, and on the Poco it looks maybe a bit too saturated and the shadows look a bit too crushed. So again, I do think it is a win for the iPhone. Picture 5. Okay, I promise I'm going to stop talking soon and let you guys enjoy the photos without me talking all over them. But check this out. This one's a macro, and this is a mode that allows you to get very close to the subject so you can get those really fine details in your photos. And what's interesting about this one is all 3 of the photos were taken from exactly the same distance. Although they appear to be at different distances away, that's due to the different lens configurations on these cameras. And I think there is a clear winner here, and I think there's also a clear second place here. Let me know in the comments if you're thinking what I'm thinking. Okay, so now I'm just going to stop talking for a while and let you guys judge the next few photos for yourselves. So leave your comments on these photos. The photos do have titles, so just put the title you're talking about and your comment. I'm very interested to hear what you have to say about these 3 phones, and I'll join you again at the end of this video with a little video and mic comparison between these 3 phones. Okay, this is the iPhone 13 Pro Max video and mic test. I've got the windows open, so there might be a bit of background noise going on. Let's flip it over now and look at the rear cameras. Okay, this is the rear camera quality on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Let me know how this looks. Now let's do the same tests on the Poco F4 and the Nothing Phone 1. So this is the Poco F4 and it only shoots 1080 on the selfie camera, so that's what you're seeing here. But how's the mic sounding in comparison to the iPhone? Now let's test out the rear camera. Okay, this is the rear camera on the Poco F4, set to the same quality as the iPhone, 4K 30 frames per second. How's it looking? How's it sounding in comparison? And now let's test out the Nothing Phone 1. Okay, this is the Nothing Phone 1. Let me know how the mics compare to the other two. Which one wins overall in the mic test and which one wins in the selfie camera test. And now it's time for the final test, the rear camera. So this is the rear camera on the Nothing Phone 1. How does the video quality compare to the other two? Is it the winner? If it isn't, which one is your winner? And if you could only pick one of these phones, regardless of the budget, which one would you go for? But then on another note, considering the budget, which one do you reckon is the best value? Let me know in the comments below, and I appreciate you guys for watching. And if you just subscribed, you are now one of the finest subscribers known to man, and I'll see you in the next one, so don't be late.